uncontroverted by using the attached affidavit, which we submit to the court's evidence in this matter, and that is the affidavit of Michael Haas. But I'd like to go back. Before becoming a public record, well, let me back up. It's clear. Once the state turns over discovery to the defense, it becomes subject to Chapter 119, which has its own built-in exceptions, one of them being protecting the interests of third parties. In some cases, the defendant's confessions are protected. So these things would be redacted, and we'd like to hear from the state how they would plan to redact those items. But as a threshold matter, under the rules of judicial administration, Your Honor has the power and the discretion, as indicated by the appellate courts. It's in the sound discretion of the trial judge to grant or limit criminal discovery. And that's State v. Kuntzman 643 SO2D 1172, and that's a third DCA case out of 1994. The rules of judicial administration allow Your Honor to issue protective orders for discovery. Clear, black and white letter of the law. It's done very often in federal cases, more so to protect government procedures and investigative techniques, but it is done very often more so in federal than it is done in state. Why is it so important here? The Miami Herald, in their response to my motion, put forth some numbers about how many website hits that were related to the article concerning the elevator. And they're like 4,000 here, 4,000 there, 2,000 here on their articles. Just on their articles. And no offense to the Miami Herald, but they're not a nationwide publication. Those numbers are very small, I think. But we don't live in the golden era of the Miami Herald. We don't live in the golden era of any kind of print magazines or print publications anymore. This is publication by immediate release, and this occurs over all kinds of websites, all kinds of social media platforms, and that's the world we live in today. One tweet, you hear it all the time, it goes viral, and it's got millions of retweets and this. Their numbers saying that, oh, we're not affecting anything here. We want to access freedom of the press to get all this discovery, which will contain salacious materials. They want it all. To bump up the click, ka-ching, which is the money, the revenue that they're driving through the clicks to their site. That's the motivation here for the Herald, to intervene. It's not to protect the public, freedom of the press for the public. They need clicks. That, when we're countering the weight and the influence that this will have on Ms. Clenney's trial down the road, her right to a fair and impartial jury, which I submit to the court.
You're not looking too glamorous in your yellow jumpsuit, are you, honey? Look at you now.
This continued drip of information coming through the discovery, which is listed. There's thousands of photos. They did a cell phone.
Orange fits you pretty well. Evil. Look at her. Just look at her. Hey, Jackie in the house. Hugs and kisses to you, beautiful. Look at her. Look at her. You ain't looking too glamorous.
OnlyFans site, which has nothing to do with the events of August 3rd, 2022. I'm sorry, April 3rd, 2022, when Ms. Clenney had to defend herself. It's going to contain this drop of discovery. I'm submitting a terabyte drive to the state, is going to contain personal text messages with her family, friends, third parties that have nothing to do with this case. And that's going to be subject to Chapter 119, and the media through Ed Griffith and the state attorney's office, they're going to send links to the media. Here's your public records request link to this video, and it's going to contain information that is highly inflammatory, prejudicial, completely irrelevant, and would never pass muster to come into the four corners of this courtroom for Your Honor to make an evidentiary ruling as to whether it's admissible or not. That's what we're trying to protect here. The only way to do that, Judge, is to limit the release of this discovery. And what I would suggest is, and we've done this in other cases where the state and I and co-counsel, we sit down to have a discovery conference. We go through the discovery. Hey, this is relevant, this is not, this is relevant, this isn't. We want this, we think this should be released. We'll come up with, to Your Honor, with as much agreement as we can about what should be subject to disclosure, what should not be subject to disclosure, to pare down the amount of discrepancies.
Jack!
So that is a workable plan. I think it's a plan that guarantees both freedom of the press. It guarantees Ms. Clenney's right to a fair trial, but we need some type of backstop to prevent the salacious release of videos, TMZ released videos. There's a hunger for this case in the media. And what we're trying to do is make sure that this case gets tried in a court of law. And actually, to quote Ms. Rundle, after her news conference, we won't be doing this in the media. This belongs in a court of law, and that's where we will go from here. From here, meaning after they released that video, saying that, oh, we think this video depicts the aggressive nature of Ms. Clenney, offering her own commentary, which, if you turn to the affidavit of Mr. Haas, sorry, Judge, give me a moment. Judge, I apologize. I passed up to the court my only copy of the motion. I don't know if the state has the copy that they were going to provide to the court. I just wanted to highlight.
I would give it back, but I just wrote on.
No problem, Judge. Thank you, Steve. So, Judge, what we did to counter and present to the court what we believe is a more appropriate picture of the influence that release of these types of videos or conversations can have, and showing that the court that the affidavit provided by the Herald is completely off base. Mr. Haas did certain searches, which he delineates. He did a time matrix as to when popularity and trend of that video were trending at the highest point. The highest point was, I think, the day after this news conference by the state attorney. All right, he did all kinds of searches. The top 5 searches, when he searched for Courtney Taylor elevator, 933,000 views. And that consisted of 292, 293, 237, 60,000, 51, all coming together. And then he has the snippet or the screenshot of how he conducted these searches. Again, using the same method, in the search term Courtney Instagram elevator, 634,000 views. And Your Honor can read the rest of it, as I'm sure you did. This isn't 4,000. This is millions. Millions. Now, what I can't tell Your Honor, I don't know where these viewers were, but I do know that this video is, and that was last week. So these numbers could be increasing. Every time there's going to be a drip of release of information through Chapter 119, if Your Honor doesn't grant this protective order, you're going to see these same spikes. Oh, video released of Ms. Clenney talking to Mr. Ubamselli days before. This case needs to be tried in this courtroom with the protections that I know Your Honor will give us to a fair and impartial trial. Jury, and under the rules of judicial administration, a fair and impartial administration of justice. That's why we're here, Judge. The influence that the release of these irrelevant discovery materials will have on her constitutional right to a fair trial. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Anything further, Mr. Pierre? Anything further?
No, Judge, that's the affidavit is the only evidence.
This court relied on your motion, the reply, and the affidavit of Michael Haas. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. And just for verification, this court's review of the affidavit of Michael Haas, it does not seem to address the geographic location of his research, correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay. Unlike the declaration submitted by the Miami Herald, which does address the specific tri-county geographic location of their research.
That is correct, and Mr. Haas attempted to garner that information to verify the local hits associated with those Herald articles, but that information was not accessible to him due to limitations and parameters set on the website that is controlled by the Miami Herald.
Okay, thank you. Any response?
Yes, Judge.
Who would like to go first?
That's I do not mind. I believe mine will probably be lengthier, so
If he's gonna be lengthier, I'll be shorter. Your Honor, thanks for having us today. Scott Ponce on behalf of the Miami Herald. I actually want to talk about what the law requires, and I won't belabor the point because I think what Your Honor just said is very important, pointing out where these views have come from. But the right of access to this material isn't driven by how many clicks there are, how many ka-chings there are, how many drips there are. It's not a numbers-based analysis. There's no bright line that says it has X amount of views. Maybe you restrict it. If you have less than X, maybe you don't restrict it. Once the information is given, Mr. Prieto said this, and he's absolutely right. Once the information is given or required to be given to the defendant, it becomes a public record. And the way it works, logistically, if that's the right way to say it, is a public records request is made upon the state attorney's office, and the state attorney's office then complies with the public records request, claims exemptions that you should be claimed. That's how that works. So we get to the Lewis test. And the first prong of the Lewis test asks, and that's what we're governed by here. The Lewis test asks, first, closure is necessary to prevent a series of imminent threat to the administration of justice. And that's the basket in which the defendant has put all of her eggs. And what counsel is arguing is the threat to the administration of justice is that absent closure, the defendant's right to an impartial and fair trial as guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment will be violated. I think it's important to at least say for the record, and it's cited in our papers, and we've cited a couple decisions, we could have cited 10 more, about what it means to have a fair and impartial jury. It doesn't mean a juror who has never heard about the defendant. It doesn't mean a juror who's not aware of the case. A fair and impartial jury, the Supreme Court has said this time and time again, and it's in our papers, a fair and impartial juror is someone who, even if they've heard about something, will agree to put aside any preconceived notions and agree to base their decision on the evidence that's submitted in court. That's what a fair and impartial juror is. So why did we come forward, Your Honor, with the numbers of readership, or number of clicks, as it were, of the articles and videos in Miami-Dade per hour in Monroe counties? About 10 years ago, just like Mr. Prieto argued, about 10 years ago, we started hearing arguments from defendants saying, well, you know, when Lewis came out and these other cases came out, you had the newspaper of record in the county, and you had the 3 network TV stations, and you know, if you didn't watch the news or didn't subscribe to the paper, you probably never heard of anything. So now that we're in this world where there's the internet and social media and things like that, it's all out there and everyone will see it. And the reason for Ms. Whitman's declaration, again, the analysis is not driven by the number of clicks, but it's to show, God, I wish my client, I wish each of the 2.6 million people who live in Miami-Dade County subscribe to my client's newspaper, but they don't. And we submit the numbers we submitted in Ms. Whitman's affidavit to show that even if this were a horse race about how many clicks there are, there's just not that many locally. There's not. And the notion that in a county, and again, the cases, we cite a lot of cases for this and a lot of block quotes in our paper. The notion that you're in a county as large as Miami-Dade County, that you're not going to be able to seat an impartial and fair juror is just ridiculous. It's just not true. And that kind of segues into the second prong of the Lewis test, because again, the Lewis test is the test we're governed by here. The second prong of the Lewis test says, no alternatives are available. I'm sorry, that's the word right there. No alternatives are available other than a change of venue, which would protect the defendant's right to a fair trial. And in the reply the defendant filed, I think it's about 4 lines, 2 sentences. Really skipped over this, and this is a very important problem. In every trial Your Honor has ever conducted as a trial judge in criminal court, in every trial Your Honor did when she was an attorney, before she was a judge, we use voir dire to weed out any juror who gives any suggestion that they can't be impartial for whatever reason. They're related to an attorney, they know the defendant. It's a cruise line case and they love to go on cruises. You would do the same thing here, Your Honor, as you would do in every case that's been in this courtroom. You're going to see if anyone in the veneer gives any indication that he or she can't be impartial and base their verdict on the evidence that comes out of the courtroom. So on that basis alone, there's no reason that the plaintiff can't meet the test. And the third point, Your Honor, is that closure would be effective in protecting the rights of the accused without being broader than necessary to accomplish this purpose. And again, Your Honor, that kind of gets to what we've just been talking about, is that an order closing all of the discovery is much more broad than necessary. We have voir dire, we have admonitions to the jury. Just closure is way too broad of I don't even want to say remedy, because I don't think we're talking about remedies. It's much more broad than needed. And Your Honor, I want to be clear for the record whether I need to object to its admission on relevance grounds or whether I just will make argument as to relevance grounds. Mr. Haas's declaration is wholly inapposite and irrelevant for the reasons Your Honor pointed out. How many people?
Hey, Nikki, Taco Tuesday.
Clicked on this just doesn't matter, because we're not the United Nations. We're not drawing a jury from around the world. We're drawing a jury from Miami-Dade County, and there's been no indication from defendants, and it's their evidentiary burden. There's been no indication to show the circulation or the views of any of these videos in Miami-Dade County. And indeed, if you look at some of the screenshots, it's a little hard for me to see. I don't have a color copy. But some of the screenshots are like from the Dallas News, from NBC Today Show. I mean, they're not local. They're not local. And so, Your Honor, I won't belabor the point. I know the state wants to speak as well. Just the Lewis test has not been met here, and there's no basis for you to grant the relief that the defendant seeks. If Your Honor doesn't have any more questions, I will.
I do, I have one question. Okay. And what is your client's position and your position as to the defense's any alternative request for partial disclosure?
Well, I don't know what that means. It sounds like being kind of pregnant. I mean, once the defendant gets the materials, they become public records. And the fact that the defendant is showing it to them in a meeting and then taking it back to their office and they're going to talk about it, I think the kind of toothpaste attitude, to use a between the metaphors here, I think that once it's been seen, that's gone. I mean, it's hard for me, having obviously not seen this and not knowing what's there, it's hard for me to talk about what I don't know. I mean, the defendant made the decision, strategic or otherwise, to come in and ask Your Honor for a prophylactic, preemptive relief. Just stop everything coming out. They could have waited and said, here are the 3 things that we think for whatever reason should not be gone out, and done it in a much more targeted, specific way, but that's not what they did. You know, we're here on day 2 of these hearings. They came with what they came with. They didn't change their approach, I don't think, in the reply. You know, it was their decision to come and request this kind of blanket preemptive relief, and it's just not appropriate. There's no grounds for it.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State.
Thank you. May it please the court to open on behalf of the state. Mr. Ponster to the Herald has addressed a lot of this, so my remarks will be significantly reduced. First and foremost, just to address that point, the state made an argument about rightness and its written motion, and I did acknowledge that written in our papers that the defendant's motion was not right, but would inevitably be right. And part of the fundamental problem, and Mr. Ponce just addressed it in the defendant's motion, is that frankly they do not know what they do not know, and they are asking this court to issue a blanket order preventing the state from complying with state law as part of the executive branch. And that's my segue first to the defendant's reply, because the defendant is operating under rules of judicial administration about court documents. As is clear in their pleadings, for example, the legislature is not subject to public records requests because the legislature has not created laws that apply to them. Chapter 119 is what governs the state of Florida and its obligations to comply. And frankly, normally these issues are contested between the state and Herald, where there are disputes as to what is or is not exempted. The problem here is that we are unusually in agreement where a blanket order is not appropriate, and my job as a prosecutor is to be administrator of justice and inform the court of that. The defendant's motion is not proper for various reasons. One, it's asking the court to sit in excess of the legislature and say Chapter 119 does not apply because we don't like it. And that's not appropriate. Secondly, and I made this argument about equitable relief, and I think it translates also about the quote-unquote drip. This case became newsworthy because of a particularly bloody video that was posted on the news. Instead of remaining silent, the defendant chose to release a public statement on April 8th and released it to local news. A month later, while there was still intrigue, the defendant released another statement to Rolling Stone and Fox News. A month after that, there were more statements. Frankly, it was Mr. Prieto who both informed the press and the state of Ms. Clenney's arrest. He, Mr. Prieto, sent myself and Ms. Hogue an email asking if we had issued an arrest warrant, which at that time was under seal, and frankly, I could have been held in contempt of court had I disclosed this to anyone. And he was the entity that made it known for the state and the press. Again, I have to note, I was in contact with the U.S. Marshals in Hawaii, and they had not called me yet, because Ms. Clenney was allowed to call her mother before, who relayed the message, I imagine, to Mr. Prieto of her arrest, before the state was even aware. It was because of Mr. Prieto and the defendant's conduct that, frankly, there is such scrutiny, and as a public office, we are obligated to answer to the public. As I noted in our papers, the surveillance video that was provided, as much as Mr. Prieto would choose to argue admissibility, I will not go down that rabbit hole. But the simple fact is, that is less than 1/4 of 1% of the total discovery in this case. And as Mr. Prieto mentioned about text messages, first it was the victim's phone that we've accessed, not the defendant's phone, and that's noted in the discovery exhibits. But there are 12,220 text messages between them alone. For us to sit over those 9,000 pages on a PDF and go line by line with Mr. Prieto to decide what to disclose to the press is not attainable. First, because frankly it would push the state to have to disclose what it will and will not seek to admit in court. Besides that, we have a public records office staffed by 3 attorneys and support staff that go line by line and will be issued with exempted material. So, for example, if the Miami Herald filed a public records request asking all of the text messages, we would reply that's too broad unless you want us to go line by line over 9,000 pages because something specific, and so on and so forth. That is the proper administration of Chapter 119. As it pertains to their motion, I believe it lacks legal merit, both for the reasons I stated, because it's asking the court to exercise its judgment over the legislatures in Chapter 119, but 2, because he completely, on its face, fails to meet any of the requirements. As counsel for the Herald noted, the affidavit does not particularize location, and this is not the first prosecution, 1 ever made, but 2 of particular scrutiny. And that's both criminal and non-criminal, and I can go on for days about other cases, but I won't. The simple fact is the defendant has failed to meet their burden. They're asking the court to, frankly, allow them to control the narrative. And that's without knowing what the discovery is. More than 90% of cases close out to plea resolutions, and God only knows what this case will ultimately resolve as. But the defendant doesn't even know what they're asking the court to seal. And because of that, the court must deny their motion. It is not right. It is not sufficiently narrowly tailored. And frankly, it's asking the court to do something that is not within the court's authority. And for those reasons, we ask that the court deny their motion on the merits.
Thank you. Any final words, Mr. Prieto?
Yeah, Judge, I would like to pick up on counsel for the Herald saying, that the toothpaste is out of the tube. That's exactly the problem that we have here. Once the toothpaste comes out of the tube, we can't get it back in. So what the state is arguing and what the Herald's arguing is saying, hey, Just let it all become public record, and then, Mr. Prieto, you and your defense team filter through it and file your objections or motions to seal at that point. At that point, the cat's out of the bag, the toothpaste is out of the tube. We cannot. What will happen is the state will release this under Chapter 119. The media is going to gobble it up in a room full of reporters. Ooh, look what I found. Look at this. And by that time, the defense wouldn't have had an opportunity to draft a motion, draft some type of protective order, bring it before your honor. That's why we're just trying to preempt the just dump of all these mostly so. And I take issue with the state saying we know exactly what is evidence in this case. The cell phones, Ms. Clenney produced her content on her cell phone. We know that is out there. Mr. Obumseli's phone probably had some adult content on there as well. Photos, performances that have absolutely nothing to do with judging Ms. Clenney innocent of these charges. This is going to turn into a circus of media outlets publishing salacious material that has absolutely nothing to do with guilt or innocence in this case. We can't undo it once it's there, once it's done. And again, the rule of judicial administration talks about a fair, impartial, orderly administration of justice. So the argument by the defense is twofold: to preserve that, plus my client's right to assist.
Look at her. Look at her.
Jury. It's the combination of both. We want
Not looking all glamorous no more now, huh?
Judge, the release of sexually explicit videos, audios, personal information exchanged between Ms. Clenney, her family, this background noise that we're trying to prevent is why we're here. And, you know, Judge, the state's talking. I washed my hands this morning. They're not unclean. They're clean. They've been clean. To vigorously defend my client, I'm not going to stand back and let her be a punching bag in the media. So any contact that I've had with media outlets has been to push back against false narrative.
Exactly, Nikki.
And that's well within our
This
right.
evil woman did it to herself. She killed that man. She killed him.
We can craft a protective order that not only keeps the state in check,
but I have a few things to say about him. Just check my old commentary. Jack and I had some things to say. I might have to revisit this.
Thing, which I'm happy to do. Something needs to be put in place, Judge, to guarantee my client's right, but also the orderly administration of justice in this courtroom. Judge, I received, just to talk about the impact of releasing these drips of discovery, I received somebody on August 14th was so impacted by the release of this video that they felt the need to go to my website and click on the ability to send me an email. And it says, "Sorry, bud, but Courtney is going away for murder." After seeing the earlier video of that elevator, there's no way.
I'm going to show the clip after this if I can find it.
This is not the only one, but this is the intention of this garner. Somebody felt the need to go and communicate with me directly because of this video. And there is no way that the state or the defense can tell you exactly where all these clips come from. What we know, the volume is extraordinary. Millions and millions, which in order to protect the fair administration of justice under the rules of judicial administration, when looking at future voir dire, I think a protective order is appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Anything further from either side?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Not by the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you both for your persuasive arguments. As I said before, the district has had the opportunity to review all motions filed, including the reply that was provided to the court today. I had an opportunity to review the case law that was cited in the intervener's response to the motion, as well as the declarations and the affidavits of both experts. Based on argument presented here, based on the written pleadings, the legal authority, and the declarations respectfully, the motion for protective legal authority, which is the Lewis test and the three-prong test. I find that the defense has failed to establish by the preponderance of the evidence that all three prongs of the Lewis has been established. My ruling is without prejudice. At this time, just for verification, the state has not provided initial discovery, correct?
We filed discovery exhibit, Judge, and I've consulted with the public records custodian and the proper evidence. Mentioned, however, I forgot to mention because it wasn't on the merits of the defendant's motion, but not everything contained within discovery is subjected to public records requests. So, for example, a confession of a defendant is not subject to a public records request until the resolution of the case. That's explicit in Chapter 119, explicit for the purpose, as such counsel has noted, about defendant's right to a confession directly. I imagine my office, because of my personal experience, will have significant objections to, and that's assuming we ever get to the point where the Miami government makes a request, which I doubt, frankly, they would. And I think and that's true across the board. So we've provided an exhibit. We have proffered that to the defense. We are awaiting whatever digital medium they choose to provide us to give it to them. There is still a significant amount of evidence that we are waiting on, and warrants that are still pending on particular mediums, such as the defendant's cell phone, for example. And so I think we're just in the early stages at this point.
Thank you.
Judge, and not just, I'm providing Mr. Quinnen the defense's check for the 1 terabyte drive so they can get cracking.
Okay. Down in trial dates.
We do.
We'll keep those dates. If there's anything else that needs to be placed on a calendar before then, please feel free to do so. You can coordinate scheduling with my judicial assistant. Anything further?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
All right, thank you both. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a 12 o'clock.
Oh.
Short recess.
Theoretically, with the full 13. Well, we did the warrant. The warrant should have been signed last week. What happens is they take the device to the Secret Service, extracts it. That's assuming they can get into it because it's stuff. It's all depending on our iCloud, which I can imagine probably is given the same shit. So what we'll do is I'll send the communication copies exactly and make sure that they let the Secret Service figure out a way to either not get deletes your extracted.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it on that one. I gotta catch this replay so I can go back and see a little bit more about this and see exactly what's gonna happen. But I think I might just end up following this one. I think I might just follow this one. I want to see what's gonna happen in the courts. Now, if y'all still here, let me see if I can find that clip of her jumping on him in the elevator. Yeah. Yeah, this clip here. So y'all give me a second here. This is last minute, me just putting this up. So I don't have any music. I'm gonna try to put some music for a second so I can go and find this one. So y'all, ladies and gentlemen, just chill here and relax. I know y'all probably at work sneaking in and everything. Just hang in there. Just hang in there. All right. So I'm putting on mute for a second while I try to find this video and some music. Hold a second. Okay, just give me a second to try to find this video. And once I find the video, I'll give you a brief update about this whole situation in case anybody who didn't see it. And I'll also put in the link in the chat so you can see the past commentary that I did and Jack co-hosted with me. All right, enjoy the music while you wait. Where is this video? I know I have it. This is crazy. Where is this video? Where is this evil woman? Mm-hmm. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I found it here. Okay, just give me a second so I can pull it up.
But now police making an arrest 4 months.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I found something. So hopefully this is the full video of her attacking him in the elevator. Yes. Why do people do these things? Don't they realize there's cameras everywhere? You cannot get away with nothing. There's cameras everywhere. If you don't have a camera, your neighbor has a camera. There's cameras everywhere. Those days doing stuff, you're going to eventually get caught. It is what it is. All right, so let's just see what this clip have to say here. Let's get it.
Now police making an arrest 4 months after a man was stabbed to death in a Miami apartment.
Officers taking the victim's OnlyFans model girlfriend into custody, saying she's the one that killed him. Local 10's Rosh Lowe joins us live from Miami with the disturbing developing details. Rosh.
This case will come down to one thing, and it will be fascinating to see this play out. Was this a case of self-defense or not? The video, say prosecutors, shows Courtney Clenney punching her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli, in a private elevator heading to their luxury apartment in Edgewater. Just over a month later, prosecutors say Clenney stabbed Obumseli to death.
The knife entered Christian's chest in a downward angle to the depth of 3 inches.
Clenney goes by the name Courtney Taylor on social media. She is an OnlyFans model who had millions of followers. The arrest warrant spells out a tumultuous relationship with domestic violence on both sides. Their building staff and security documented so many incidents of arguments that management was moving to evict them. On the day in question, April 3rd, prosecutors say Clenney called her mom, who was on the phone at the time of the incident, they say. In the call to 911, Obumseli can be heard saying he is dying, and Clenney saying, "I'm so sorry, baby."
But it gives restored hope that even though delayed, justice will still come.
Detectives spent months looking into whether or not this was a case of self-defense. Clenney said she was thrown to the ground. Cops say there was no physical evidence of this. Clenney also said she threw a knife at Obumseli from 10 feet, according to police. But the medical examiner's office said a knife thrown at this distance would not have caused the fatal wound. In the arrest warrant, Clenney tells police, quote, "I do not think that this was, I don't know. I really don't know if this was justified at all." Clenney has been charged with second-degree murder. It's important to point out, although we stress that video and the state stresses the video, they say that is only a piece of the overall puzzle here. And you heard me mention the other areas of their concern. As far as Clenney goes, she is still in Hawaii awaiting her first appearance in court. She is expected to waive extradition and will appear in court here in South Florida in the upcoming days.
She's not in Florida now. She's wearing an orange jumpsuit. She got new clothing, new outfit. Yeah, Nick, BG, you said something that was, I noticed that in this news report. You said, yes, Nick, yeah, I saw it. They messed, but they are already trying to say he beat her and she fled to the elevator. You see, now they're trying to switch a little bit of words here, because I remember when I was doing that commentary, and I have to go back to revisit, but when I did the commentary, that her friends, their friends, they said, I wish I could find a clip. Maybe I will find it. If y'all hear, you hear. If not, I understand. Everybody's at work and I'm just off today. Well, not actually off. I'm working from home, but still I'm off, whatever. Right? So I'm trying to understand. The friend said that they've never seen him put his hands on her. They never seen him to be violent. It was always her. And the friends even said that she shouldn't have a reason to fear that he would hurt her or anything like that, because she was the violent one. This woman is straight up evil. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm not going to lie to you. I have to be real over here. The reason why I didn't really touch bases on this commentary, because I wasn't too happy about what this man said about black women. Yes, what he said about black women. And if you look at the past commentary, you'll see it. But not saying he deserved this. No, he doesn't. Nobody deserves this. But I just really didn't appreciate what he said about with black women. And he said it with a passion, and he was putting all over social media. So I didn't revisit this situation, but I might just revisit it because, it's a court thing. And I want to make sure this woman, she needs to go under the jail. Look at her jumping at this man like this. We thought you was all pretty now. What's that orange little summer dress you got on? Whatever it is. You wearing a jumpsuit now, honey. You wearing a jumpsuit now. You thought you was going to get away with it. And then after she killed him, she's sitting in a bar, in a hotel bar with her daddy having a couple of cocktails. Really? You supposed to be so nervous. You're so scared because this guy was jumping at you. You have to defend yourself. But you having some cocktails? Something not right about this whole situation. Nope. Not at all. All right. Let me see if I can find something about with the friends. All right. Let me see if I can find another clip with y'all, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And let me give you some music while you wait here. This is just a mess. Just a mess. And you're right, BG. Now they trying to switch the words around. See? Okay, enjoy the music while you wait while I look this up. Hey, Anti, blessings to you. Yeah, I agree, Anti. I agree. All right, enjoy the music while you wait while I try to see if I can find another clip. Like I said, this last minute I was just throwing this up. Totally not prepared, but I appreciate your being, because I know a lot of people's, working, sneaking in, doing something or whatever, and I appreciate your time and listening and engaging as much that you can. You know what? I think I'll show this clip. Let's roll with this one. Let's roll with this. We're gonna rock this one out. Okay, I'm gonna show here. What am I showing, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna show this clip here, the social media one. This clip with the press conference and everything when they finally arrested her. So we can watch this and go back, because I honestly, what I showed y'all, it was last minute. I have to watch the trucks. I didn't really quite catch everything he said, so I have to rewatch it. But we could just watch it so everybody can be familiarized with what this whole crap and what's happening. Okay, so let's get it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Every act of violence in a relationship is always an act of domestic violence. Those words, domestic violence, should have a decidedly ugly feel to them. Domestic violence is something I and our entire Miami-Dade community has worked hard to end. Understand the pain and the tragedy that domestic violence has always produced for the direct victims and for the indirect victims, such as children. That is why I'm proud to have originally created Florida's first felony domestic violence unit and have developed a basic prosecutorial approach aimed at combating domestic violence that is now used by prosecutors throughout Florida. pain created by domestic violence is stunningly apparent when it leads to a tragic death of one of the partners. Violence brings us directly to the reason we are here today, which is the killing of Christian Ombumseli on April 3rd, 2022. He died in Unit 2201 of a residence located at 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue in the city of Miami. We are charging 26-year-old Courtney Taylor Clenney with one count of second-degree murder in Christian's death. She has been taken into custody in Hawaii. She has not yet been brought to court for a hearing, but when she does go for a hearing, she will at that time have the option to either waive or contest extradition. It is our understanding that her lawyers have stated that she will waive extradition. In the meantime, my extradition division has been working with the Hawaiian authorities, the U.S. Marshals, and the Miami-Dade Police Department to ensure a smooth process if she does decide to waive. If she contests extradition, the law requires her to be held in Hawaii with no bond, and my office would then seek an arrest warrant from the governor's office to bring her back. At this time, all the necessary steps are being taken as we speak for her return to Miami to be held accountable for this murder. With me today are the City of Miami Police Chief, Manny Morales, who all of us know does excellent work for our City of Miami, his Assistant City of Miami Police Chief, Armando Aguilar, to his left. I want to thank both of them and their department for the professional diligence that they exhibited in this case and for the partnership that we share. We have Gaddy Serralta, who is the U.S. Marshal of the Southern District of Florida. You all know he stood here many times by the side of those of us in law enforcement. He's always an extraordinary partner with all of us in law enforcement, who, by the way, in this case, overcame a number of challenges to secure this arrest. Marshal Serralta he's right behind him. Gaddy Serralta played a pivotal role in connecting our law enforcement officers with the West Coast U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to ensure that Courtney Clenney, who was over 4,700 miles away from Miami, will be able to stand before a judge here in Miami and face these charges. I'm very proud of Assistant State Attorney Khalil Queenan. He's right here, this young man in the blue suit, who is also a member of our Gun Violence Initiative. He is on this case, has been from the beginning. Thank you very much, Khalil, for your diligent work. And to his left is a very wonderful veteran homicide prosecutor she's my Chief Assistant State Attorney, Kathleen Hope. Thank you very much. They have been heading up this investigation, and they will handle this case in the courts from this point forward. To my right, we have the very distinguished attorney, Larry Hanfield, who is the attorney for the family of Christian Ombumseli. And he has brought with him his clients, Christian's brother, Jeffrey Ombumseli, to his right, and his cousin, Karen Egbuna, who is the beautiful woman standing to their right. They're all
Okay, his cousin right there, this lady right here, pretty lady, and she was really upset because that a lot of black women was saying that they didn't really care about this whole case and stuff because due to the fact of the horrible things that her deceased cousin has said about black women. But she has to understand, and she said, well, that was the past, but she have to understand he did say some terrible things about black women. He did. All right. And he said on social media, he said it several times, and people they was hurt and upset. So, if it was vice versa, you would probably be feeling the same way too. So you have to understand and respect people who has their feelings about it, because what he said was horrible. It was straight up horrible. I just wanted to throw that in. I didn't know if anybody know about that one, but let's resume.
here today to all of us in law enforcement want to express to you, as family members, our deepest sympathies for this tragic murder of your loved one. I also would like to thank and express my gratitude to the law enforcement community in Hawaii for their assistance in this matter, specifically the Hawaiian County Police Department and the Hawaiian County Prosecutor's Office. So let's talk about this case. The Chief Medical Examiner of Miami-Dade County determined that Christian's cause of death was a stab to the chest. Christian was stabbed as the knife punctured the subclavian artery in his right chest. If you look over here for just a second to either one of these screens, you will see that a good idea of how large that subclavian artery is within the human heart.
Oh, yeah, she's right here. Hey, say hi to Grandma.
The chief medical examiner further determined that the knife entered Christian's chest in a downward angle to the depth of 3 inches. In other words, the medical examiner has indicated that the fatal knife wound which entered Christian's chest was the result of a forceful downward thrust penetrating to the depth of over just 3 inches into that artery you just saw. You'll see there on those screens on either side how deep that 3 inches is. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it was certainly enough to kill him. This homicide has gained some notoriety since the defendant Clenney is an internet social media personality and influencer under the name of Courtney Taylor. Evidence gathered during the investigation of Christian's death showed that since November of 2020, he and the defendant, Clenney, had been involved in an extremely tempestuous and combative relationship. As an example, it was learned that the security and building staff at the Miami apartment documented many incidents of loud arguments between the couple after they moved into the building in January of 2022. Tenants as far as 2 floors above, in an apartment 2 floors above, were making complaints to security and building management about the noises and the ruckus. This problem had, in fact, had the building management moving toward evicting the couple from the building because of these many noise complaints. From the apartment elevator building, you will see that on February 21st, 2022 incident, a month after the couple moved into the building. So let's play that video if we could now. If you look at either screen, you will now see the video. That's them entering their apartment. You can see
Replay. I agree with you, BG, on that one. This woman is evil. She's a dangerous woman. And and like I've said, and I've done plenty of commentary on this, men get abused too. You know, man, you got to worry about these women that get all flippity flop and get loud, all up in your face, pointing and stuff like that. They get violent and they get crazy. Look at this. They was only, I believe, if I'm correct, don't quote me on everything. I have to do my research. I have to do some more reading on this to revisit it. But I think they was only living there for like 4 months or something like that, just a few months in this luxury building. And he was getting complaints. The police came over, I think like 10 calls or whatever. I think they're going to say it in this press conference here. This is an old press conference, so whoever's coming in here, now this is not this old press conference before that they finally arrest her and brought her butt over here, and now she's wearing an orange jumpsuit. But wow, look at this. Okay, let me resume.
That's them entering their apartment. You can see, you'll draw your own conclusion, but it certainly appears that the defendant was aggressively attacking Christian. Such interactions appear to have caused Clenney and Christian to separate at various times in their relationship, including the last week of March 2022, when Clenney expelled Christian from the apartment. This occurred while Clenney's mother, Deborah Clenney, who was in town and staying in the apartment. Defendant Clenney and Christian then rekindled their relationship on Friday, April 1st, 2022, after her mother left to go home to Texas. At that time, Christian moved back into the apartment. Arguments began almost immediately, with police responding to the apartment. Police reported that Clenney appeared intoxicated when she was contacted on the evening of April 1st, 2022. This was 2 days before the homicide. On Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, the day of Christian's death, events started peacefully, with the couple filming themselves with their dogs in the apartment. A key fob for the records showed that Christian left the apartment at 1:15 p.m. and returned about 3 hours later at 4:32 p.m. with sandwiches that he had bought for both of them. So what we've done here now, if you look at the screens, you'll see there a timeline. While you look at it, I'm going to try to go through it because the timing is very important to understand in this case. So at 4:01, Clenney called Christian. Then she goes live on Instagram. And then at 4:33 p.m., she called him again, shortly after posting the video. At 4:33 p.m., Christian walks into the apartment. 10 minutes later, at 4:43 p.m., Clenney called her mother. That call lasted until about 4:49 p.m., just over 6 minutes. At 4:49, Clenney made a second call, almost immediately, to her mother. They spoke until 4:56 p.m., a little over 7 minutes. I think at 4:57 p.m., Clenney calls 911. At 4:57, police officers exit the elevator at the unit. Christian
So he goes, if I'm correct, he goes to Subways or whatever to go get a sandwich. He comes back, right? He walks into the house at 4:33 p.m. Then 4:43 p.m., this evil woman calls her mother until 4:49, just over 6 minutes. And then at 4:49, this evil woman made a second call to her mother. They spoke to 4:56. And then at 4:57, she calls 911. What the heck? That's not much time. What jumped off from going to get a sandwich and coming here? I think she planned to kill him. I think she probably planned to kill him. This woman is evil. It just doesn't add up. Then the police officer exit the elevator at 5:04:57. I resume.
Stabbing must have occurred between 4:33 p.m. when he returned to the apartment with those sandwiches and at 4:57 p.m. when the defendant, Clenney, called 911. Also, at the same time during that period of time, that being 4:33 p.m. to 4:57 p.m., neighbors began calling the building manager about a disturbance at the apartment. Security called 911 at 4:46.
I know I keep pausing it. And another thing I'm curious too. What was that phone conversation with their mother? I want to know what she was saying to her mother. Because obviously the father, I don't understand why he's sitting in a hotel bar with his daughter having cocktails after she killed somebody. Interesting. Resume.
Notifying them of the disturbance. 11 minutes later, at 4:57, defendant Clenney called 911 to tell the police that Christian was suffering from a stab wound and needed help. On that 911 call, Christian can be heard in the background repeatedly saying that he was dying.
Don't need a man.
Feeling in his arm. Defendant Clenney is also heard saying, "I'm so sorry, baby." In her telephone statement to the police on the date of the incident, Clenney's mother stated she heard her daughter yelling at Christian. Remember, she's on the phone with her, telling him to leave the apartment. And she heard defendant Clenney saying that Christian was lying. Later, in her what we call post-Miranda recorded statement to the police, defendant Clenney admitted to having caused Christian's injury, also provided several inconsistent accounts about the incident itself. After an argument, defendant Clenney claims and says that Christian shoved her against the wall by the neck, and although he did not actually choke her, then she says he threw her to the ground but allowed her to get up. And it was at that point that defendant Clenney went to a kitchen area and got the knife. As Christian,
I'm not sure, Jack, because I know I just, how you said last minute, just jumped up doing this one. So I got to go back and look at it and everything, exactly the date and what exactly is happening. But I'm just showing this part about when they finally arrested her. And let's go back. I just don't understand. A man goes to get a sandwich, something to eat, and then he wants to come home and just start beat on you like that. And he's just jumping at you within like what 20 minutes time period, and you're talking to your mother. No, it just seemed like she was sitting around that house, walking around pacing, holding a knife, and she decided she's gonna go straight for him. It just doesn't add up. There's no self-defense. This woman is completely out of her mind. She's completely evil. She got a drinking problem. She got a mental problem. She probably got borderline personality disorder all over the place. Psychotic, schizophrenic. But he wanted her. I resume.
sort of approached her, she threw the knife at him from a distance that she's estimated to be about 10 feet. The police observed no visible injuries, which would have corroborated her account, and she had no injuries. In describing the stabbing incident, at no time did defendant Clenney claim Christian was armed with any type of a weapon. And based on the location of the stab of the wound, the medical examiner opined, in other words, it was her opinion, that throwing the knife from that distance would not have caused that fatal stab wound, but rather that it was a downward strike with a knife could have only caused that fatal stab to the artery that led to the Christian's bleeding to death. The violent and toxic 2-year relationship of Christian Obumseli and Courtney Clenney did not have to end in tragedy with Christian's murder
2 years.
as a
Wow.
victim of domestic violence. Personal relationships should never involve domestic violence. And make no mistake about it, domestic violence is a crime no one should tolerate. Men are often, unfortunately, unwilling to come forward as victims of domestic violence, or of intimate violence, that is sometimes called. The sequence of domestic violence events can be broken, but it takes the first step. That first step needs to be taken. If anyone is caught in a domestic, dangerous, violent situation, please know that there's a strong, huge safety net of resources and shelters in this community that are available. If you are, of course, in an emergency situation, you've got to call 911, but you can also call your state attorney's domestic violence resource line. It's available 24/7, days a week at 305-547-0140. We can and we want to help. If you're in need of shelter or services, you can call Miami-Dade County Coordinated Victims Assistance Center.
Well said, Jackie.
Helpline for assistance at 305-285.
Lisa.
6900. And you'll see up on your screens, there is a QR code. Any one of you can just, whoever's watching this, you can just put your phone with the camera app right on that QR code. It will immediately go into a domestic violence resource line for you. So at this time, I'm going to ask our distinguished Chief of Police, Manny Morales, to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam State Attorney. Good afternoon, everyone. This was an extremely difficult investigation, an extremely challenging situation to be in. I want to first give my condolences publicly to the Sully family. And I know it's kind of tough pill to swallow when it takes this length of time to try to bring justice, at least to this chapter of what is going to be a long saga. However, I do have to give credit to the men and women from the homicide unit that diligently worked the case. And I want to remind everybody out there, right, that whether it's domestic or any other type of violence, the Miami Police Department will not stand by on the sidelines. The Miami Police Department will come to the aid of the victims and do everything within our power to get justice for them. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our partners at the U.S. Marshal Service that brought the defendant into justice. And we'll be here to support every step of the prosecution. And with capable personnel from the State Attorney's Office, we're looking forward to a successful prosecution in this case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. And at this time, we'd ask Larry Hanfield to please say a few words on behalf of the family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Ambaselli family, Jeffrey and Karen, who flew in from Dallas and Houston, Texas, respectively, this is a day that they only hope for. It's very, very sad.
Him and his brother look just alike. Look like twins. Oh my gosh. Harrison.
And they dealing with the pain as we speak. But I want to personally thank the State Attorney's Office, Kathy Fernandez-Rundle, who is a tremendous treasure to this town, for once again showing the type of leadership for every citizen for Miami-Dade County, and the leadership of the City of Miami Police Department for their commitment to bringing this day into reality as well as the U.S. Marshal's Office for bringing to justice the arrest of the defendant. We always believed that with a thorough and fair investigation that this day would come into reality. This is such a relief for the family, but it gives restored hope.
Okay, I think I have another clip here I could show. I didn't see this news clip. So I'm just like basically throwing out some clips in case of anybody who doesn't remember this, and I did do commentary on it. And I'll also put the link in again of the commentary I did on this, and Jack was co-hosting. This was a few months ago. But I hope everybody was following that timeline. I gotta follow it some more. It just doesn't add up. What was she saying on the phone with her mother? I'm just dying to know what was she saying for her mother. But I know one thing. Mother was telling her, don't speak. Get yourself a lawyer. The man goes to get some sandwiches. He comes back, and all of a sudden he gets stabbed, and she claiming self-defense. I just doesn't make sense from the time period. What was it, 20 minutes they said? Something like that? Less than 20 minutes, and all of a sudden he's dead? What could have jumped off like that? Doesn't add up. All right, enjoy the music while you wait while I find this other clip, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully everybody's having themselves a great day at work or your day off, whatever it is that you're doing. All right, give me a second here. Okay, this is my first time watching this clip. I'm just pulling up stuff and see, just pulling up stuff. All right, this is some clip. It says something about some new footage, I guess, with them outside. I don't know. But we just watched it together. First time for me, just like y'all. All right, let's watch it.
An OnlyFans model and her boyfriend.
The woman was arrested, accused of stabbing him to death just 2 months later. NBC6 reporter Jamie Gorola is live in Miami with a closer look at that video and reaction from neighbors there. Jamie?
Yeah, I spoke with a neighbor who was here in February, and he says he witnessed a scuffle between the couple.
Might be the same clip, but hey, let's just watch it.
And recorded it. We're going to hear from him in just a moment. But also today, we learned that the OnlyFans model has 2 open warrants in 2 states. Meanwhile, her attorney is insisting that the killing was self-defense.
All right.
Thursday night, the OnlyFans model accused of murdering her boyfriend appeared in court.
Your Honor, at this time, Ms. Clenney will waive her right to an extradition hearing.
Clenney arrested on a warrant while in rehab in Hawaii for the murder of Christian Obumseli in Miami in April. Clenney told a judge she would voluntarily allow officials to transport her to Florida to face her charges.
It was shocking because, a lot of couples argue, a lot of couples do things and get into it, but not physical like that.
That was Clenney's former neighbor speaking exclusively to NBC6. He says he took this video in February, 2 months before the fatal stabbing. The video doesn't have audio, but the neighbor says he heard the couple from the 12th floor.
We just started hearing them arguing. And he started eating real quick, and she was being a little aggressive, trying to jump in the water.
This is more video of the couple in a fight released by the Miami-Dade state attorney. It shows Clenney slapping and beating Obumseli repeatedly in an elevator.
Such interactions appear to have caused Clenney and Christian to separate at various times.
The state attorney says this shows a pattern of violence in an unhealthy and unstable relationship that ended in murder. But Clenney's attorney says it's irrelevant and doesn't show what happened the day of the murder, A murder, he says, was in self-defense. A statement in part says, quote, the charging decision in this matter should have been made on the evidence of what occurred that evening in the apartment and nothing more. This is a case of self-defense, and the facts that will be presented at the trial will prove this. All right, those 2 open warrants are in Texas and California for intoxication and misdemeanor assault on a family member. Reporting live tonight in Edgewater, Jamie Garola, NBC6 News.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find that clip with the friends, what the friends had to say. I know I had it before, but I don't know where it's at. But I'm gonna try to find it. So enjoy the music. And yeah, yes, Jackie, you hear this crap, right? 2 open warrants in 2 different states. This woman is completely out of her mind. She's dangerous. This is what you call a very evil woman. See, ladies and gentlemen, once again, mommy and daddy laid down and they had Satan's daughter. That's you, Satan's daughter. Yep, she's evil. Okay, let me go and try to find another clip. Enjoy the music while I wait. Let me see how I can find it. Okay, I have this, I'm gonna try to show this one. I have the clip of her when having a couple of cocktails with daddy after she done stabbed her boyfriend. That went viral. All right, let me see if I can pull this one up.
It wasn't a
I still have to find the friends. Okay, let me share this one. Insane, right? Frugal, insane. What does BG say? Social media is fake at times. Oh yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right, BG also says people show what they want us to see, not always the truth. Purple hearts. Yes, let me get some purple hearts in here. I do the purple hearts. Honestly, purple's not really my favorite color. My favorite color is pink, but I do like purple. But I have the purple hearts for a meeting for domestic violence. That's why. So I like to see the purple hearts. That's the reason for it. Wait a minute. Where is it? All right, this is like about what 20-second clip, something like 20 seconds. But we just have to see Courtney having a couple of cocktails. She at the bar with Daddy. She's with Daddy, having some drinks. Daddy, I killed my boyfriend. And let's drink on it, celebrate. I killed him. I stabbed him. Cha cha cha. and I'm gonna get away with it, Daddy. I'm gonna get away with it. Yeah, really. Okay. Let's watch this clip here.
I'll videotape her. Right now, you should go. Yeah, you should go. Because you just killed your boyfriend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, and yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Videotape her. Right now, you should go. Yeah, you should go. Because you just killed your boyfriend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, and yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Daddy, let's go to the bar and celebrate. I killed my boyfriend, and I'm gonna get away with it. Ha! Rewind.
I'll videotape her. Right now, you should go. Yeah, you should go. Because you just killed your boyfriend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, and yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then she's supposed to be so emotional wreck, and she's so upset because she had to kill her boyfriend in self-defense because he tried to hurt me. But she's celebrating at a bar with her daddy. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Yes, Purple Hearts. I love to see the Purple Hearts. There's a meaning for it. There's a meaning for it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I appreciate that one. Jackie said no, that she didn't throw hands up. Yes, Jackie. Now I gotta find the clip with the friends. The friends, what they have to say. Okay. Again, enjoy the music while I wait.
Before I got ill.
Can't seem to find this clip, and I also want to show you that clip. Oh gosh, this would happen when you're not prepared. I also want to show you that clip when she was on that podcast talking about she only date rich black men. Let me see if I can find that. Just give me a second or two. But I'm gonna show you this clip here for now. Gosh, there's just so many things about this situation. Oh my gosh, it's insane. Alrighty, where am I showing y'all, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, let's look at this clip. I'm gonna see if I can find those other two clips. If not, I'll just have to show it another time when I have more time to search for it. Okay, let's get it.
Accused in her boyfriend's stabbing death made her first appearance in a South Florida courtroom. Courtney Clenney facing a judge after being extradited from Hawaii. CBS 4's Trish Christakis is live from West Miami-Dade, where Clenney is still being held tonight. Trish, this case has certainly taken a lot of turns. What's the latest on this?
Yeah, Carly, Courtney Clenney appeared in bond court this morning. Her attorney was present. Like you just mentioned, she is being held at TGK behind me. Now, her attorney argued that there was not probable cause for second-degree murder.
There's an information that has been filed for a murder in the second degree with a weapon, a life felony. And the original warrant was issued with a no bond hold.
Courtney Clenney, accused of stabbing her boyfriend Christian Abumseli to death, appeared in bond court Saturday morning. Her lawyer, Frank Prieto, says there is an issue with the arrest warrant.
I just feel it's important that the court be made aware that that warrant that Judge Dello signed, I do find that he did find probable cause. However, there's not probable cause for second-degree murder, Judge. At best, it's manslaughter.
Clenney's attorney claims that there were several misstatements in the warrant, indicating cherry-picked text messages and alleged bruising. Prieto says he has proof.
The detective also indicated there's no signs of bruising that were consistent with Ms. Clenney. I was at the homicide unit and I have photographs of her bruising.
I have reached out to Clenney's lawyer to see the evidence they're claiming they have, but have yet to hear back.
I can go on all day, Judge. At this stage, it is inappropriate for a first appearance judge to be addressing these substantive matters on this proceeding. This is something that counsel should raise through written motion before the trial court.
The judge addressed Clenney and said that she's not the judge who should be making these decisions, and she wants a judge who knows more about her case to take over.
I don't want to make any sort of ruling and then jeopardize whatever right for review you have in front of a judge who may be more familiar with the facts of the case.
I understand, Your Honor.
For all those reasons, I'm going to abstain at this moment from interjecting my opinion and allow this case to be reset in front of the judge who's going to be handling the case.
And there is no bond at the state. Arraignment for her is scheduled September 6th. We're live at TGK. I'm Trish Christakis.
Okay, let me see if I can find that her on that podcast. What was the name of that podcast? I can't remember. Okay. Just give me a second. I will try to find it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the music while you wait. Okay. I think I have the famous podcasts. It's like a minute and a half, so it's not long. What's this here? Let's get to know a little bit about Courtney. Let's get to find out a little bit about Courtney. But definitely, if you watch the commentary I did before, I have all of that all together. And I also have timestamps if you watch a commentary, so you can jump to different things. And it'll take you straight there. Okay, let's just hear about Courtney and her dating habits. Okay, this video I'm showing, this is from We in Miami podcast. Okay, so shout out to you. Let me make sure I hit the like there. All right, let's watch this little clip. And if I'm correct, this was taken, well, of course, before the crime, but when, I don't know. All right, let's get to know a little bit about Courtney. Let's get it.
I'm Courtney Taylor, and I do OF for a living.
OnlyFans. You got like 1 million followers or something?
2 million.
Damn. You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys, especially black guys. Especially black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich.
Okay, rich black guys. There we go. And so you're toxic.
Yeah.
You can tell she like black guys. It's like especially black guys. For all you watching, I'm with it. Do you like to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Pretty well, yeah, in the bedroom,
Yes.
but like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
So you only want them to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Other than that, you don't want them to tell you anything.
Right. No, that's exactly it. Yes.
So that sounds like you're.
Rewind.
I'm Courtney Taylor, and I do OF for a living.
OnlyFans. You got like 1 million followers or something?
2 million.
Damn. You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys, especially black guys. Especially black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich.
Okay, rich black guys. There we go. And so you're toxic.
Yeah.
You can tell she like black guys. It's like especially black guys. For all you watching, I'm with it. Do you like to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Pretty well, yeah, in the bedroom,
Yes.
but like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
So you only want them to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Other than that, you don't want them to tell you anything.
Right. No, that's exactly it. Yes.
So that sounds like you're a control freak with your relationships. Be careful with this one. She's gonna boss you around like
Sweet toxicity.
So you only date rich black guys. So like, have you ever dated like any politicians, or only like rappers or athletes, or what kind of rich black guys?
No dope boys, no politicians.
Just strictly athletes.
I mean, well, dabble here, dabble there, a little bit.
Have you ever dated any celebrities?
Dated? Well, I mean, yes.
What celebrities have you dated?
Just like athlete, Jermichael Finley, but don't look him up. Don't look him up. Don't.
And she just confessed right there. She just said, that's why I replayed it again. Did you hear? She said she's toxic. She basically confessed that she's a nut. She's crazy. She's out of her flipping mind. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot seem to find the friends. I want to find the friends. Well, let me give up. Let me not give up. Let me just give me a second to find the friends, and then I'll let y'all go. Jackie said there are 2 brain cells to rub together in that hole. I can't. All right, let me see if I can find that news clip with the friends. Just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second. And good afternoon, realists, peace and blessings. You know about this whole crazy story too, right? You do, realists? You have to know. You know about this whole evil woman stabbing her boyfriend, claiming it's self-defense. All right, give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can find what the friends had to say, because that was very important. Because I remember when I first heard about this story and I did the commentary, I was like, those friends. Friends see a lot. Wait a minute. I don't think I've heard of this one. You hear about this crazy woman right here? Her stabbed her boyfriend, Claiming self-defense. Evil woman. Evil. All right. Let me see if I can find the friends. All right. What Willa says, let her parents who spoiled her spend so much money trying to get her out of this one. You know what? Well said. Now they're going to pay for it. See, this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot be spoiling your children, letting them think that they're a bunch of princesses, a prince, and they can just do whatever they want to do. You can just roll out the carpet. People supposed to cater to you, and you are entitled to everything. Because when they face the real world, it's not like that. Okay, you might have got away with that with your mommy and daddy, but in the real world, no. Okay, you're nobody special. A lot of people walk around here and think they're entitled, especially these narcissistic, toxic people, sociopaths. They think they're above everybody else. But no, it's not like that. All right. And Realist said, wow. Shaking my head. Exactly. That was a great comment. You're right. Now they got to spend all this money. All righty. Let me see again if I can find it. I cannot seem to find these friends. Attorney claims Courtney claims fatal stab. I cannot seem to find these friends. It's probably like in one of these news clips, but not titled The Friends. Because that's what really moved me about this whole case, when the friends was like, he has never been violent towards her. He would never give her a reason, and she would have to, protect herself. Maybe he need to be protected from her. That was basically what the friends were saying. All right, you know what? Let me just show this one clip. Maybe there might be some friends in this one talking, the one that I was looking for. And then after that, I'm going to let y'all go. I had y'all here for God knows when. And plus, I want to go back to my own replay and catch the court. But the volume was kind of low with the court. Maybe this clip might have something with the friends speaking. Okay, that was just very interesting to me. Excuse me. Okay, let's get this is the last clip I'll show y'all, ladies and gentlemen.
Police say that woman confessed to the killing, but says she did it in self-defense.
Now the man's family and their attorney speaking with Local 10. Local 10's Roy Ramos live with more on this. Roy.
Louis and Christy, it's been nearly 2 weeks since this fatal stabbing that happened right here at this apartment complex, and no arrests have been made. Just a few moments ago, I got a chance to speak to the family of the man who was killed. They say he was innocent, and it is his girlfriend, an Instagram influencer, who should be facing charges.
My son was just treated like nobody.
A mother in tears and a family devastated after they said their loved one, 27-year-old Christian Obumseli, was stabbed to death by his own girlfriend, 27-year-old Courtney Clenney.
I just want justice.
11 days after the fatal stabbing, and there have been no arrests in the case. City of Miami police said there was a struggle between Obumseli and Clenney before she stabbed him in the shoulder. He later died in the hospital.
The detectives assigned to this case had already reached the conclusion in their mind that there was no basis for an arrest. That is inexcusable.
Shortly after the stabbing, video from TMZ captured by a neighbor showed Clenney covered in blood, cuffed on the floor of their luxury Miami apartment. Investigators now trying to determine if she acted in self-defense.
We have no cause to believe that this was an act of self-defense.
There's no evidence to corroborate her allegation, and that's the problem.
I spoke with Larry Hanfield, the attorney representing the Obumseli family, who tells me they've gathered evidence from independent.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Everybody see that? Trial date is set for December 19th. Okay, I resume. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
Independent witnesses to indicate Courtney was the aggressor, a claim her attorney.
Look at her just sitting there covered in blood. She doesn't look too stressed out. She looks so devastated. Resume.
Adamantly denies, saying she was a victim of repeated domestic violence and acted out of fear for her life. Are you concerned that she may not be charged at all?
I mean, honestly, yes, we are concerned.
So we did reach out to the attorney representing Clenney and requested an interview. That interview request was denied, saying that Clenney is now focusing on herself right now following that traumatic event.
Yeah, really. She's focusing on herself. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, girl. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let y'all go here. I had you here like almost pushing 2 hours right now. And thank you for coming here. Thank you for sneaking us. I know a lot of people's probably working and they sneaking in. I appreciate that, but I want to jump on this, and when I see it popped up, it was live. And maybe I will, get into this more if it's gonna be a trial thing. Yes, I want to see what's gonna happen in this trial. So in December, stay tuned for it. So everybody have this as a great day and a blessed one. And may I get a couple of purple hearts before y'all leave out of here, if possible. And thank for everybody, like I said, who's sneaking in. And let me see. My girl Jack says something. What Jack says? Donna, this may be the link you were looking for if it loads. Oh, if you're trying to put a link in, it won't go through. Is that what you're trying to do, Jackie? It won't. It's not going to go through because I have the links blocked. Is that what you're trying to do, Jackie? Let me know. This is the link you were looking for. It's not loading. Not sure what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, just stay tuned, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. She's writing something. Okay, hold a second. Maybe it's over here. Jackie said, no, didn't load. It's on Yahoo Dr. Phil. Oh, you said something Yahoo Dr. Phil. Didn't load. Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can pull up here. All right, hold a second. This was on. All right. Everybody enjoy the music. Let me see if I can find what Jackie's talking about. Oh, is this what you're talking about? Oh yeah, no. I ain't gonna be able to show this one up. It'll pull this one in a second on my channel. Darn it. You was talking about directly, I believe Jackie was talking about directly to his website, Dr. Phil. If that's what you're talking about, I won't be able to show that one because they'll flag it. Darn, but I'll definitely look at it. Uh-oh, I'm here working. All right. Yeah, if it's the one you're talking about, that's on Dr. Phil. 'Cause I see something with Dr. Phil, Miami model stabs boyfriend to death, exclusive. His family speaks. Oh, this is good. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I can't show you this one. Yeah, they won't let me go through with this one. Nah. All right. Thank you, Jackie. But y'all can look it up too. It's on Dr. Phil, and just put in Courtney Clenney, and you can pull it up yourself if you want to see that clip that Jackie was telling me about. All right. So everybody have this as a blessed one and a great one. Stay tuned for more of Donna Just Being Real. Date smart, not thirsty. And ladies, keep your hands off these men, and men, you keep your hands off these women. Y'all need to stop this crap, okay? And stop staying in these relationships with these people putting their hands on you. You know, you could do better. Find yourself someone else. Oh, gosh. The dating scene, relationships. All right. But there's a lot of good points to it, too. Everything's not bad. All right. Bye, everyone. And have this as a blessed one and a great one. And like I said, thank you for coming here and thank you for engaging. Bye.